way it's not working. Okay, so once again, very simple question. Why do we have elections?
So everyone gets a voice to like be able to elect the people who make decisions.
Okay, we have elections to appoint people to represent us, to make decisions at government.
Yes.
Anyone want to add to that? Pretty much sums it up. Okay. So an election is just a name for the process that we use to determine who will lead over us, who will represent us at the federal, municipal, and provincial levels. Okay. Does everyone remember which one is municipal?
The city.
City. Which one's provincial?
The province.
Oh man, stop calling out.
You gotta change it.
What's the federal one?
It's like the country.
Well, you could just keep calling out, man. He had his hand up. Okay. Election is just a contest. Okay, and many elections, unfortunately, are popularity contests rather than, boys at the front, rather than seeing who's actually competent and can do the job well. A lot of times it is a popularity contest or, who can create a better smear campaign contest, right?
Okay.
You disagree?
Yes.
You can keep your
No, I
disagreement to
don't
yourself.
disagree. I agree. Sorry.
No, you're allowed to disagree.
No, I don't though.
A candidate is an individual that is running for a position in government. They're competing for this job. At the federal and provincial level, it's very likely they'll have a political party. At the city, municipal level, they might be running independently. Some people run independently at provincial and federal levels as well, but it's less common and it's likely going to be more difficult. I mean, regardless of what you think of government, at the end of the day, you do need a team to help you run and manage anything, whether it's a business, organization, city, classroom, school, a household, right? You need a team of people to help you run things. It's going to be very difficult to do it on your own. But independent doesn't necessarily mean that it's just that one person. It could be that they are separate from the political parties that are available to choose from. If a number of candidates or a number of people have very similar values and views, they come together and they want to run in an election, they want to compete, they can form a political party. There's a bunch of them at the federal, provincial levels. Obviously, a political party is trying to bring about change utilizing the government mechanism and change that is supported by their belief system. So once you have candidates, once you have a competition in place, once you have a platform, you have also electoral systems, which is the way we are able to express our preferences and how we determine who wins. So in America, they do things slightly differently than in Canada. Not all democracies have similar styles of elections. Some democracies vary quite a bit. There are also countries where there is no democratic process. Again, that refers to the fact that in democracy, people are able to voice their concerns and actually speak their mind, let's say, on who should lead. In some systems, you have, dictatorships. So a lot of it is done through force. There's not a lot of choice. Some countries have, mock or fake elections. So yeah, they have a election, but there might only be one candidate on the ballot, or some people don't get a ballot. So in Canada, we divide our country up into what is called electoral divisions or ridings. It's a well-defined geographic area, so it's a piece of land. They're determined by a variety of factors, and we'll look at some things later today on that, as some of the factors are population size, demographic makeup. So do we understand the word demographic?
Yep.
Can you explain what that means?
That means, so demographic is like a group of people that comes from a certain identity, kind of. So, say if if a TV show's demographic is kids, then it would be a bunch of children who are watching that TV show.
Sure. Yeah. So demographic is a group of people who have a particular identity. So it could be age, it could be language spoken at home, it could be religion, it could be income, it could be whatever, right? There's many ways to identify people. And the example given with the TV show, so a TV show with a demographic for kids is going to try and create content that will be relatable for children, that will be enjoyable for children. If it's done well, maybe adults enjoy it as well. Geography as well can be part of the electoral division. Does anyone know how many electoral divisions we have in Canada?
338.
Is that the current one?
Yeah.
Okay, 338. So why do you think, you know, we have 338 electoral divisions in Canada? Does that correlate to anything else we've learned? Does that relate to anything else we've learned? Where else do we see 338 people?
The parliament.
In Parliament, right, in the House of Commons. So Canada is divided into 338 sections. The people who win in those sections then go on to represent their section in Parliament in Ottawa. Oh, it's on the board. I didn't even see that. Here I was thinking you were in the know.
I know, but
So Canada uses the first past the post or single member plurality system. So one person is elected per electoral division. Okay, so you have to have one person with the most amount of votes. The candidate who receives the most votes wins. This is called plurality, which means the number of votes cast for a candidate who receives more than any other, but does not receive an absolute majority. And I think there's a slide next that we'll look at. That will help you better understand that from numbers position. But just to give you a bit of side information while you're filling out your notes, so my friends who are Brazilian, they're explaining to me some of the process for their federal election in Brazil. In Brazil, they have a lot more political parties and candidates, and so they have two elections. The first one is to determine who fills the parliament, and then the second one, from that initial election, they take maybe the top 2 or 3 candidates, and then they have another election to see, well, who will become, leader of the country. Okay. Simply because they have so many different parties, so many different candidates. Whereas in Canada, we really only have 4 parties that can actually win seats in the House, maybe a 5th, although that's quite rare. And generally speaking, we go back and forth between Liberal and Conservative. I'm not sure how many NDP governments we've had at the federal level. What's up?
0.
Hey, let's wait till the lesson's done.
There has been 0 NDP government on the federal level.
Ever?
None.
Okay. So it just goes back and forth between Conservative and Liberal. So in effect, Canada really only has like 2 parties that could win, right? So here is the numbers breakdown. So first past the post system works where you have 100 people casting their vote, their ballot. You have 2 clear candidates who are well liked. You have the Orange Party and Independent Party. Okay, Orange Party got 40 votes, Independent got 34 votes, and so the winner would be
The
Orange Party. Okay.
So,
Even though she got less than half of the people voting for her, she still had more votes than anyone else. Does anyone see any challenges with this system? What's another way to interpret this information? Okay, 100 people voted, and they selected Orange Party. Lisa.
More people disagree with the Orange Party than they agree with it.
Yeah, 60% of people didn't vote for the Orange Party, which is the majority, right? So that's potentially one of the issues that can come up, right? Which, from the point I made earlier about the Brazilian system, so in Brazil, it might be that this is your percentage breakdown of seats in parliament, and then they'd have another election. Well, clearly the people, 74% of people want either the Orange or the Independent Party. Well, let's have a second vote. Let's take these 26 people and let's see where they vote and who should actually lead, right? So there is challenges with first past the post as well. Switching gears, looking at political parties. So anyone over the age of 14, which is some of you, can now participate in a political party. Obviously, they're probably not going to elect you their leader, okay, but you can participate through a variety of means. I would assume by participating in campaigning. I know a lot of parties do door-to-door knocking, or they do volunteer events, and so participating through that.
So with this one, people under the age of 18 can't be a member of parliament or an MLA or anything. So they would only be campaign officers, just people promoting the cause of the party kind of thing.
Yeah. So 14 to 18, you can really only be someone who volunteers, helps out, and in some respects is like a